Pero po, siya nung sural sa po, si Juan. Ikasan mo yan. May nakakaw, nakano sa mga, ikasan lang yun.
Ano kon?
Ikasan friends ako siya.
Pang nakaon na.
Pagdating na, si kaya pagdating na sa
Sabay na. Yan, hindi ko naman itong magkuha. Plus siyang.
Madalang sa Poroy na Lanao.
Kailangan mo eh. Medyo. Istorya ka niya.
Kayo? YouTube bro. To our viewers, now YouTube account link secondly. This morning, we will be conducting the CP conference of 26 KF 26 KF 0070, 26 KF 0073, and 26 KF 0074. PV conference is conducted pursuant to RA 409 under section 61. The concurrent entity to conduct PV conference in which discuss clarify the experience about the among others, it includes school student in awarding of contract once project is paid. For country, this is the right time for discussion from the prospective leaders of the DEO. But before we formally start with the conference, we have first our silent prayer, after which is the roll call that been by the Bank Secretariat Pyrosa. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to acknowledge the attendees of the visit conference. To start with, the back chairperson, Johnny B. Mamainte, present. Back provisional member, Shanola William Bona,
Present.
and the procurement staff, Humima Salvatore, present. Back provisional member, Georgina and Simabanto, present. Back regular mayor, Fatima Haji Ali, present. Back PWG, Nadir Abiaser,
Present.
Back Secretary Elizabeth Banyasha, present. Back PWG, Abdul Madida Marumag,
Present.
from Back Secretariat, Andrea Jamel, present. From Back Secretariat, Haneda Mamataka, present. Back Secretariat, Nora Bani, from Back Secretariat, Mamama Wayal Flavi, from Back Secretariat, Inalia Sarip, from Back Secretariat, from Vice Chairperson, Abdul Zaman Makanis, and lastly, from Back Secretariat, Ito. Next was please, thank you. Thank you. Since the back member is in quorum, we may now start to discuss the following contract data, technical and financial proposal, eligibility requirements, and awarding of contract by the DPWH and Secretary.
Good morning. The DPWH Lanao Del Norte and District Engineer, please, through its bids and awards committee now invites bids for the underworks. For the first project, sustainable infrastructure project, Alleviating paths, RDC access roads and power bridges from the national roads leading to the outskirts of the public buildings, facilities, construction of Barangay Ramain Bridge, Station 0+153 with the contract ID number 2060F0069. In the location of the project as Sultan, Naga, Dimaporo, Lanao Del Norte. For the scope of works, facilities for the engineer, other general requirements, earthworks, sub-base and base course, surface courses, bridge construction, drainage and slope protection structure, and miscellaneous structure. With the approved budget for the contract of 44,895,377 pesos and 56 centavos. For the cost of bidding document, 25,000 pesos with a contract duration of 251 calendar days. For the license category B, for classification medium grade. For the second project, asset preservation program, construction, upgrading, rehabilitation of drainage along the roads, tertiary roads, Lala-Salvador-Tubod road, station 1610+539 to station 1611+400 with a contract ID 26TF0070, location of project at Salvador Lanao Del Norte. For the scope of work, facilities for the user, other general requirements, earthworks, bridge construction, drainage and slope protection structures. The approved budget for the contract is 59,192,243 pesos and 54 centavos. For the cost of bidding document, 30,000 pesos. For the contract duration, 172 calendar days. And for license category B, for classification, license classification, medium grade. For the third project, basic infrastructure program, multi-purpose building facilities to support services, construction of multi-purpose building covered court with a contract ID number 26TF0073, the location of project at Barangay, Poblacion, Kapatagan, Lanao Del Norte. For the scope of works, facilities for the engineer, other general requirements, earthworks, reinforced concrete, finishing and other civil works, and electrical. The approved budget for the contract is 9,900,891 pesos and 50 centavos. For the cost of bidding document, 10,000 pesos with a contract duration of 150 calendar days. For license category C and D, for license classification small b. For the fourth project, basic infrastructure program, multi-purpose building facilities to support services, construction of multi-purpose building with the contract ID number 26DF0074. Located at Barangay Tenazas, Lanao Del Norte. For the scope of works, facilities for the engineer, other general requirements, earthworks, reinforced concrete, finishing and other civil works, electrical and mechanical works. The approved budget for the contract, 5,445,404 pesos and 73 centavos. The cost of bidding document is 8,000 pesos. Total duration is 120 calendar days for license category C and D. For license classification, small D. For fifth project, basic infrastructure program, multi-purpose building facilities to support services, construction of multi-purpose building covered for with the contract ID number 26DF0073, the location of the project, Barangay, Poblacion, Kapatagan, Lanao Del Norte. And scope of works, facilities for the engineer, other general requirements, earthworks, reinforced concrete, finishing and other civil works, and electrical. The approved budget for the contract is 9,900,891 pesos or 50 centavos. The cost of bidding document is 10,000 pesos. The contract duration is 150 calendar days. License category C and D, and for license classification, small D. That's all for the contract data, Madam Chair.
Thank you. You may proceed with the activity. If you have other topics to be discussed.
So, any modification to the bidding documents shall be identified as an amendment. Request for clarifications on any part of the bidding documents or for an interpretation must be in writing and submitted to the back of the procuring entity concerned at least 10 calendar days before the deadline set for the submission and receipt of bids. The back shall respond to the said request by issuing a bid bulletin or bid supplemental duly signed by the back chairperson to be made available to all those who have properly secured the bid docs at least 7 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids, and shall be posted in field GIFs, conspicuous place in the premises of the procuring entity, on the department website and or social media platforms of the procuring entity. Reminder that all prospective bidders are encouraged to inspect the site and took JPEG photos of it before the procurement process. For the project 26 Kiev 0069, the minimum work experience requirements for key personnel are as follows. On the other hand, for the minimum equipment required, these are the minimum equipments required to complete the project. And as per the readiness of the contract, shown are the approved detailed engineering design plan for the project. Shown is the location of the project, which is from SND Municipal Hall. It would take 7 minutes ride from the site, which is approximately 2.5 kilometers. Shown also is the bill of quantities of the contract. Shown also is the general plan and general elevation, the sectional elevation of type 4B ash to girder, the abutment details, slab framing, the foundation plan, and the slope protection details. For the project 26 Kiev 0070, the minimum work experience requirements for key personnel are as follows. On the other hand, for the minimum equipment required, these are the minimum equipments required to complete the project. And as per the readiness of the contract, shown are the approved detailed engineering design plan. Shown also is the bill of quantities of the project, the general plan, the line canal details, the manhole details, drainage steel grating details, for the projects 26 Kiev 0073, these are the minimum work experience requirements for key personnel. On the other hand, for the minimum equipment required, these are the minimum equipments required to complete the project. And as per the readiness of the contract, shown are the approved detailed engineering design plan. Shown is the project location, which is from Kapatagan Municipal Hall. It would take 2 minutes ride from the site, which is approximately 400 meters. Shown also is the bill of quantities of the project. Shown is the bleacher details, the column and footing, the trusses details and fascia frame details, the electrical layout, and for the project 26 Kiev 0074, these are the minimum work experience requirements for key personnel. On the other hand, for the minimum equipment required, these are the minimum equipments required to complete the project. And as per the readiness of the contract, shown are the approved detailed engineering design plan. Shown also is the project location, which is from Lala Municipal Hall. It would take a 7 minutes ride from the site, which is approximately 4.3 kilometers. Shown also is the bill of quantities of the project, the perspective view, the elevation details, the cross-section details, ceiling plan, footing details, the floor plan, trusses details, the stairs details, ramp details, water tower details, signage details, the plumbing and septic tank details, and the lighting layout. So as per DO series DO 82 series of 2025, which supersedes the Department Order number 11 series of 2022 and Department Order number 21 series of 2017, and shall take effect immediately. Installation location for building projects. The billboard shall be installed at the front of the project site. For road, bridge, or flood control project, billboard shall be strategically installed in conspicuous location at both ends of the projects. And for road project exceeding 10 kilometers, additional billboards shall be installed at every 5-kilometer interval. If the project length extends beyond the last multiple of 5 kilometers by up to 2 kilometers, a single billboard installed at the project endpoint shall suffice for both the final interval and the endpoint. We require all contractors doing business in our department to be registered with the DPWH CWR system as per Department Order number 51 series of 2010. Always monitor and update your documents. Expired CPA files will affect your eligibility results. Make it a habit to attach your Class A and Class B documents for your advantage. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission. You may be allowed to submit its eligibility requirements electronically with certification under oath as to the correctness of the statements made and completeness and authentic of documents submitted. Link for online submission is as shown. Submission and receipt of bids. Bidders shall submit their bids through their respective duly authorized representatives using the form specified in the bid docs in two separate sealed bid envelopes and which shall be submitted simultaneously. The first shall contain the technical component of the bid, including the eligibility requirements under Section 52 of the IRR, and the second shall contain the financial component of the bid. The first bid envelope shall contain the following technical documents. First, the PhilJIP certification registration, which is platinum membership, in accordance with Section 2020 of this IRR. Procurement to be performed overseas shall be subject to the guidelines issued by the GPPB. Second is the PCAB license and registration. Third is the statement of all ongoing government and private contracts. Fourth is the statement of SLCC. Fifth is the NFCC computation. Sixth is the JVA and PCAB special license if applicable. Seventh is the bid security in prescribed form, amount, and validity period. Number 8 is the project requirements, which shall include the following. First is the organizational chart for the procurement project to be bid. Second is the list of contractors' personnel to be assigned to the procurement project to be bid with their complete qualifications and experience data. And third is the list of contractors' major equipment units which are owned, leased, or under purchase agreements supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project as the case may be. And ninth is the omnibus sworn statement in accordance with Section 54.3 of this IRR, which is now 1 to 11. 10th is the sworn affidavit of eligibility and beneficial ownership. 11th is the additional 4 requirements for corporation, which is the latest general information sheet or a GIS reflecting the beneficial ownership information duly received by the SEC. Lastly, for project costing more than 30 million, ISO 9001 2015 certification. And the second bid envelope shall contain the financial documents as specified in the PBDs. First is the financial bid form, must be in accordance with the prescribed form. Second is the duly signed bid price in the bill of quantities. Third is the duly signed detailed estimates, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with a bid. And lastly, the cash flow by quarter and payment schedule. These are the form attached in our bid docs. The bid form, the cash flow by quarter, the bid securing declaration. Under Rule 7, Section 56 and 57 of Republic Act 12009, bid and bid security validity period is 120 calendar days from the date of the opening of bids. Should it become necessary to extend the validity of the bids and its securities, the procuring entity shall request in writing all those who submitted bid for such extension before the expiration date therefore. Shown is their form for organizational chart, the list of personnel, the list of equipments, the omnibus sworn statement, item 1 to 11. Sworn affidavit of eligibility and beneficial ownership. We will be using LCRB for this procurement process as mentioned in section 58 of the said Republic Act. The box shall check the submitted documents of each bidder against the checklist of required documents to ascertain if they are all present using a non-discretionary pass or fail criterion as stated in the instruction to bidders. The ABC shall be the upper limit or ceiling for acceptable bid prices. If a bid price as evaluated and calculated in accordance with this IRR is higher than the ABC, the bidder submitting the same shall be automatically disqualified. The box shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criterion in the considering the following. First is the completeness of the bid. Second is the arithmetic correction. Bids shall then be ranked in the ascending order of their total calculated bid prices as evaluated and corrected for computation errors and other bid modifications to identify the LCB. Total calculated bid prices as evaluated and corrected for computation errors and other bid modification which exceed the ABC shall be disqualified. For post-qualification, within 5 calendar days from receipt by the bidder of the notice from the bank that the bidder has the LCB, the bidder shall submit all the eligibility requirements supporting its PhilGIP certificate of registration, its latest income and business tax returns filed for the preceding quarter, which should not be earlier than 2 quarters from the date of submission and receipt of bid, and other appropriate licenses and permits required by law and stated in the bidding documents like tax clearance, MERS permit, DTI, or SEC. Further, prospective bidders should not be included on the blacklisted contractor of GPPB. We would like also to emphasize the second and third section of this department, which is Department 9 series of 2012. This order shall supersede DEO 169 series of 2025. This order shall supersede Department Order number 148 and 227, both series of 2024 and other issuances inconsistent herewith. These are the published department orders on accreditation of the DPWH contractors and consultants, project engineers, provisional project engineers, and testimonial PE. Please do check if nasa mga listahan yung mga PEs ninyo to avoid violation on 3-strike policy. Those contractors who plan to apply for accreditation for their personnel kindly refer to Department Order number 118 series of 2024 guidelines on the accreditation and assignment of contractors and consultants, project engineers. Shown also are the minimum material testing equipment for medium contractors as per Department Order number 11 series of 2017. Pursuant to the item 34.3B2 of the 2016 revised IRR of 9184 or Republic Act 9184 and to ensure that all DPWH projects are completed without delay, all BAC are hereby directed to strictly apply, among others, during the conduct of post-qualification or award of contract, the following guidelines. During post-qualification, the BAC shall determine the bidder's compliance through declared SLCC, competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel, availability and commitment, and or inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions or major equipment units. Performance of the bidder in its ongoing government and private contracts. Results of the CPS. If the PAC verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to the contractor's fault or negligence, the agency shall disqualify the contractor from the award for the procurement of infrastructure projects. Shown is the Department Order 28, the series of 2024, which is the 3-strike policy in the procurement of infrastructure, goods, and consulting services contract. Moreover, the DOL 115 series of 2021, this is about your CPAs or the certification of final acceptance. So please kindly settle this before bidding.
Ready for the awarding of contract after determining the lowest calculated expense of bidder or the LCRB. The head of the procuring entity shall issue the notice of award, and within 10 calendar days, the following document shall be submitted by the LCRB. The said following documents can be shown as enumerated in the notice of award from item A to F. The performance security shall be in the amount not less than the required percentage of the total contract price in accordance with the following schedule. First form is a cash or cashier's manager check issued by a universal bank, which is 10% of the contract price. Second form is a bank draft guarantee or irrevocable letter of credit, which is 10% of the contract price. And the last form is a surety bond followed by the minimum, which is 30% the contract price. The performance security shall remain valid until issuance of the procuring entity of the certificate of final acceptance. That would be all for the awarding of contract. Okay, thank you. Use all contract data, eligibility requirements, technical and financial components, including award, are all discussed. The previous conference is now open for questions and clarifications from the participating bidders. Since there's no question and clarification from the participating bidders, may I request the PAC member, Engineer Fatima Haji Ali, for the adjournment of this big conference. I move for the adjournment of this big conference.
Seconded.
Thank you, everyone. With no further matters and the motion is duly amended, this big conference is hereby adjourned.